So you are coming to New York City either for a new job or for an internship in 2024. This video is going to tell you everything that you need to know that I wish I knew before coming here to New York City. So who am I? Why should you trust me? And where am I now? Well, I'm in New York City right now. I just moved here and I used to work at Goldman Sachs. And so I kind of know a little bit about how to get into finance and also about moving here to New York. So this channel, if you don't know who I am, is all about tech, finance, and cars. And today we're going to lean heavily on the finance aspect of things. So let's get right into it. We're going to talk about the things that you need to know when coming to the city. So let's say that you have accepted either a new job here in the city, be it in finance or any other industry, or maybe you're going to be interning here for the next few months just for the summer. So there's a lot more that you need to know before moving here that I wish I knew. And this can go from anything such as where to live, things to bring, things not to bring, different websites, applications to be aware of, where should you be living, what should you be doing while you're here, especially if you're an intern and you're here for a limited amount of time. What are some things that I wish I had known to do before I even left my home state before coming here? And what are the first few things that you should do when you get here? These are all topics that we're going to talk about in this short video. Hopefully you get something out of it. So please like, subscribe, and let's get into the first topic. So the first topic is going to be finding somewhere to live. So this could be temporary, be it for the summer, or this could be more long-term if you're coming here for a job. So one of the first things that you need to look at is if you're going to be here long-term, look at street easy. So coming from a state that's mostly filled with suburbs and not a lot of large apartment complexes, street easy was not very known to myself. And so this is a very prevalent app here in New York that helps you really find apartments and find places to live. It could be more short-term or it could be, year-long leases. But this is where most apartments are, and especially in the summer months and leading up to it, there's a lot of competition for apartments. So this is the first place to look, and just refresh this every day, have your filters set. You can set alerts for things that you need or want in the place that you're going to be living. So this is the place to start. Now, let's get into a little bit of the weeds. So if you're going to be here short term, you could look at Airbnb, which a little bit more difficult this year with some new New York City regulations on Airbnbs. But there's another option, which is dorms at universities. So I've had friends that have stayed at the NYU dorms. Columbia might be an option. The option to sublet. Now, how do you find a sublet? What is a sublet? A sublet is where essentially you are paying someone else's lease. That's the most basic way of putting it. Someone else has a lease on an apartment, and you are simply now transferring the right to live there, but underneath their lease agreement still. Sometimes you need to get this approved with the actual owner or whoever manages the property beforehand if there's any kind of stipulations in their lease. But in any case, that's what a sublet is. These sublets could be for a few months. A lot of people might travel during the summer and want to sublet to a student or someone interning. So that's a great option. Or if you're coming here and you're not really sure yet where you want to live or you want to try different neighborhoods, you could try subletting as well. There's also places that are furnished, so that's an option as well, but just know that you're going to be paying more. And especially if you're going to pay for a place that has a washer dryer in unit, a doorman, things like that, add a few $100s to your rent every month, per amenity. And just know that most amenities, if you see apartment buildings with gyms, pools, things like that, it's going to be a few $100s on top of your rent every month. It could be $100, could be $200, could be $300. So just keep aware of that. How do you find those sublets though? Okay, one of the best places is Facebook groups. So Facebook groups, Craigslist, these are wonderful resources to leverage when coming to New York and trying to find a sublet if that is something that you want to do. And these sublets could range from a month, a few weeks, or even to almost an entire year that you could be taking over. So just know that, and you got to be flexible. If you want roommates, also it's a great way to find roommates. A lot of companies will also help you with putting you in groups of people that you might be interning with. So that's also an option, something to know about. So it really is dependent on what you want, but just know it's going to be very expensive. And a lot of people are paying 40-50% of their income in rent. And I know that's ridiculous, but it is a reality of a lot of people. Now, where should you live? Well, it really depends. If you are, let's say, working or interning at a bank in Midtown and you want to save a bit of money, I would say maybe live in Queens, live in Long Island City, because the rents are a bit lower. It's 1 or 2 train stops away from the majority of the banks. If you're working in FiDi, like at Goldman Sachs, you might want to be in Brooklyn or Jersey City. Really easy access to the financial district. If you're working in fashion or media, telecom, or any of those types of firms, a lot of them might be in Flatiron or around Union Square Park. So those are really central, and maybe you want to live on the Lower East Side, East Village, Murray Hill, those types of areas. And you'll find sometimes some good deals, some good sublets in areas like that. Now, some people might think this is crazy because they have preconceived notions of New York City. Maybe you've never been here, but you could also live a little bit outside the city and you'll be just fine. I have friends that live north of Manhattan, people who live in Uptown and love it. So it's really just dependent on what kind of neighborhood you want, what kind of feel you want. If you want more of a newer buildings and more corporate kind of feeling, lots of high rises, lots of glass, the Hudson Yards area is great, or even some newer buildings in the financial district. If you want more of a neighborhoody feel and you want all the restaurants and the places to go out, I would say West Village, East Village, Soho, Chelsea, Murray Hill, Kips Bay, all those types of places have a ton of restaurants and really have that neighborhood feel in Manhattan, of course. If you go outside of Manhattan, Brooklyn is awesome, tons of places to go and do things and eat, so it really depends on what you like. One of the most important things to look out for wherever you live is look at where you're working and then just follow subway lines down from there. That's the best thing that you can do, subway or bus lines, and just say, okay, if I'm working, let's say, in Midtown, and I want to live somewhere in Queens, just pick a place that's really close to the 7 line, something like that. It'll make your commute so much easier. You'll have less headaches. So living close to a subway line makes life a lot easier. And that's what we did when we were looking for some place to live. Just look at places that are by metro lines or bus lines, or if your building even has their own shuttle, that's an option as well. All right, let's talk about transportation. This one will be very short. So transport, like I mentioned, live by a subway line. The buses are great. Just know both of these might have delays quite often, so plan accordingly. But I have found it might be a little exaggerated on how bad the delays are. There are days that it's really bad, and there's some days where it's right on time. So reliability can be an issue, but just know that the subways are pretty great here and you can get to most places with them. There's tons of different lines. Don't stress it too much. Now, something that I really enjoy is actually the city bikes. So if you're going to be here for a year, the city bike membership is totally worth it. It's about $200 a year, about $220. But if you have a Chase Sapphire Reserve card, you actually get 2 years of Lyft Pink with the city bike membership included for free. And so this means you can take 30-minute rides on regular bikes for free, or at least included with this membership, or you don't have to pay the $4.79 to get an electric bike. You just have to pay the 30 cents per minute after that. And so if you want to get a little bit of a workout or just don't go too fast so you don't sweat, just get the regular bike and you're going to get around the city really quickly. I find if I want to go to Soho or something, it might take 20, 30 minutes if I want to take public transport, but if I bike, it might be a 13-minute commute. And so just biking has been a great way to get around. If you're someone who likes to skateboard or boosted board, another great way. You just got to be really careful with all the cars around, but if you use the West Side highways or things like that to get around, super, super great. Especially if you want to run. If you want to run to work, a lot of places will have gyms with showers. And so if you are the kind of person who wants to work out in the morning, you could run to work, work out, and then go upstairs and get to work just like that. So those are some options for transport. Also know if you're flying and you live outside, if you live in Manhattan and you're flying out of New York, flying from EWR, which is Newark, LaGuardia, or JFK, which is John F. Kennedy International, which is the biggest one here. It's going to be pretty expensive if you're trying to Uber. It could range from $50 on the low end to over $100, almost $200 for an Uber. So just be careful about that, but actually using public transport is pretty good. A lot of people complain that going to LaGuardia is tough because there's not a direct subway line there, but I have found that it's not too bad. You just take the 7 line and then you catch a shuttle that goes straight to the airport. It's actually a city bus as well, but it's not that bad at all. So don't stress it too much. Use the public transport. If you're coming from JFK, get on the line that will take you to Jamaica Station and then get the Long Island Railroad into Penn Station and you'll be right in the middle of Manhattan. And then Newark Airport has the Newark Express. So that's transportation for living in New York. All right, next topic, which is networking and social things. So one of the most important things that you can do in this amazing city is talk to people. The people here are from all around the world, from different disciplines and different professions. So the most valuable thing you can do is build your network here. And I don't mean just go up to people and just try to get those really surface level connections, but really speak to people, understand them, build a deeper connection. Of course, get their LinkedIn anyways, get their contact info, because you never know when you're going to need your network. One of my favorite quotes is, your network is your net worth, and that could not be more true. And here it's amplified. And so if you're an intern or someone coming here permanently, really try to get out of your shell like I had to do and meet people. It's the best thing you could do. Make friends in places you might not even know. Make friends at your yoga studio or at the gym or in the park or whatever, because everyone is here for a reason. A lot of people are hustling, trying to do something important to them or important in general, or trying to make a living. So everyone's working hard here, trying to do something at every level, and it's valuable to make deep connections with anybody, from the guy in the bodega making your sandwich, who could be awesome. It's a great friend to have, your doorman, to someone you meet in the office. So just try to build those connections, get those LinkedIns. Make sure you follow up. Make sure you're nurturing those connections, because you never know, like I said, when you might need them. And so a lot of great ways to meet these people, you may ask, is how you meet them. Well, join a professional organization, or go to the happy hours, go to the social events that you can find, go to everything possible. There's tons of events always happening around here. If you're a fan of a specific sports team, let's say you're a Manchester United fan or an Arsenal fan or whatever it might be, there's certain pubs that are those team specific, right? Just like in any place. And so go there and you have someone who's like-minded like you, that you can bond over your love for your team, things like that. Or sign up for a sports league at your company or outside your company. Go play some tennis in the park on the west side of Manhattan, whatever it might be. Go do those things. find the people that are part of your tribe, and you're going to flourish here, and you never know what might come of it. One of the great ways to find events and things happening, Eventbrite, social media, things like Instagram, follow pages that are New York City specific, or organizations that you might be part of. One organization is Alpha. That's one that I've used to go to social events, but there's so many others. So really just get out of your shell and find those events to go to. The next topic is going to be social aspects and just having fun in New York City, exploring New York City. So we're going to name this part of the video Exploring New York. But really get out there, do things. Don't spend time in your apartment at all, especially if it's a small one that sucks, because that's going to be most people, because the whole point of being here is being out and being in the city. The energy is amazing. You know, I came from Utah and I love Utah. I will forever love Utah, but there's just something different about New York. It's incredible. I get why people say it's the greatest city on earth. I've been to a lot of the biggest cities around the world, and this is truly one of the most amazing. It's just incredible, the people you'll find, the things you'll do, the things you'll see. So just get out there, go to different parks. There's always something happening. There's always, let's say, a market happening at Union Square on the weekends, or there's events happening by the vessel at Hudson Yards, or on the different piers all along the west side. There could be events happening in Central Park. There's something called the JP Morgan Corporate Challenge. That was something that happened as part of JP Morgan. There's always events happening. There's run clubs. That's another thing I should have mentioned in the last chapter of the video, but join maybe a run club if you're into running. I'm not even a huge runner, but I joined one just to be able to meet people and do something fun. So explore the city. I definitely advise, especially if you're here in the summer, go to Central Park, go to all the museums, especially if you work at a company that gives you free tickets. I know a lot of the large financial services companies, the banks, give you free tickets to a lot of the museums. Definitely use that. There's a wonderful museum, Natural History Museum. Go to the Met, go to the 9/11 Memorial Museum. All these places are incredible. Get out to Brooklyn. Go out even further. Go to the Hamptons if you want, if you get a good weekend to go, because there are beaches here. So really make sure you're getting out. Some things I would advise: weekends. I mean, this should be obvious, but everything is going to be packed. There's going to be lines. So please plan accordingly. If you want a reservation somewhere, make sure you're getting it far in advance, because most of the time, if you see something on Instagram or TikTok, most likely there's going to be a huge line when you get there, because now thousands of people know about it, or maybe millions. But one of my favorite places is Gusto's. Great sandwiches, fantastic. If you want a burger, 7th Street Burger, super good. Things like that, you know, and also look out for deals, because there's tons of happy hours happening all the time, and lots of cool rooftops. Don't go to, I think it's like 230th rooftop, something like that. That one's very cliche, but I would suggest going to other ones around the city. There's tons of them that you can get into that will cost less. Also know that, you know, again, most things will cost a little bit more, but also go to the Edge. I know it's kind of a touristy thing to do, but it's also incredible. So if you're in the Hudson Yards neighborhood, go to the Edge, go to the top. You'll see all the city, and the beautiful thing is that you'll get the view of Billionaires Row to all the way in the financial district. You'll get all the biggest monuments in New York all in one view. And then you can go downstairs and walk along the High Line. Beautiful place to be. Walk through Chelsea, get to Soho. So truly so many things to do. Also, make sure you're getting out on the water as well. There's great ferries that honestly will give you such an amazing view of the city. There's one hidden one that I really like. It's the IKEA ferry that will take you to IKEA in Brooklyn, but it's free and you get a whole view of the city. So if you're on a budget, that's a great way to get out on the water, get a ferry trip. There's also free kayaks on the west side on the Hudson. So that's another great option. But also, tons of meetups happen in the summer, so keep an eye out. There's Tech Week, there's so many different kinds of meetups for whatever niche of thing that you are interested in. It could be biking, could be content creation, it could be finance, it could be media, it could be fashion, tons of sample sales if you're into fashion or luxury goods. Go out, be with your people. So make sure you're getting out and exploring New York City. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is finances. So, of course, New York is expensive, and maybe if you're working in Manhattan, you'll be making good money, but you'll be surprised at how far, or the lack of how far, that will take you now that you live here. Maybe back where you came from, in whatever state or even country that you were living in, that might have taken you pretty far, but in New York, it's a little bit different. Everything is more expensive. There's more taxes on things, so you do have to budget accordingly. Definitely build yourself out a budget on how much you want to spend on food, on doing certain events, going out, transportation, things like that, because it does add up very quickly. But of course, your biggest expense is rent. So the more money you can save on your rent, the better you'll be off. So that is the number one tip I can give you. Just try to save money on your rent, because it is possible to eat and enjoy your time here on a budget. It's just, you really got to keep an eye on those finances pretty well. I would budget maybe a few $100 on groceries every month, and then a few $100 on going out or food out every month. And then, yeah, you're going to be spending between 30-40% of your income on your rent. But as you become more senior in your role, that percentage will definitely decrease pretty quickly. So it's really those first couple years, first year, first 2 years that you live here, that it's going to be a large percentage of your income. But after that, I think it really, as long as you don't level up your lifestyle and get a more expensive apartment every year, you're going to be fine, and you'll get out of that rat race pretty quickly. And especially if you're a student and you're interning, make sure you take advantage of any student discounts you find here. That's going to be huge, so really use that. So let's do a recap on this video. Let's end it. It's gone longer than I wanted to, but really, I hope you enjoy your time here in New York. One, find a great place to live, but make sure you're not spending too much on it. Again, use StreetEasy, use Facebook groups, whatever you can. Get a good deal if you're going to be here interning or permanently. Make sure you're making those connections, you're meeting people, get their LinkedIns, go to social events, join clubs or sporting clubs or whatever it might be. But go out, meet people, and explore the city. Get out there, go to Central Park every weekend. It's packed with people. It's amazing. It's so much fun. Go downtown. Enjoy just being in this city, because it's such a vibe. And make sure to get oh, by the way, don't get a Metro Pass. Just tap your phone when you're using the bus or the subway. You don't need to get a Metro card unless you just want one as like a souvenir. But yeah, get a city bike pass. Those are going to be super, super useful. And yeah, just enjoy your time. You're here in the greatest city on earth, and I hope that maybe I run into you. But really, I'm rooting for you. Have a great summer, or if you're here, moving here permanently, good luck to you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget, like and subscribe.